Welcome to week 4 of the Guided Nutrition Challenge. This is the final week of learning and making new dietary adjustments through this program. I'm so glad that we have made it this far, and I am hoping that you have already been able to see some valuable transformations in your own health and lifestyle practices. For the past couple of weeks, we have been really focusing on finding practical ways to stabilize blood sugar levels in order to balance hormones and reduce inflammation in the body. Through all of these little steps and tweaks along the way, I'm hoping that you have been able to move closer to the end goal of making lasting changes to your overall health. Taking what we have learned over the past few weeks and putting those concepts into practice is vital to your success in this program. Yes, learning is the foundation, but taking action to make the necessary changes is what will bring you the results that you are looking for. This is where things begin to shift, because now that we have established a good foundation of eating a whole foods plant-based diet, it's time to individuate and find which foods and habits serve you best. This week we are going to get personal, and by that I mean we are going to focus on how to personalize a diet that is right for your unique circumstances. Have you ever had the experience of trying out a new diet fad that simply didn't work for you? Take a minute to think about this, because what doesn't work for us can often give us some really great insight about what does. What went wrong with that diet attempt? Was it physically unsustainable for you in a way that left you feeling exhausted, depleted, or even sick? Did it not fit with the rest of your lifestyle? Were you lacking support? These questions are important to consider so that you don't make the mistake of taking on something that is not sustainable in the long run. You may be thinking, why do I need to personalize my diet? Isn't there just a one-size-fits-all eating plan that is best for everyone? Unfortunately, no, there isn't. And that's because we are all genetically different, existing in different regions with different seasons and weather patterns. We have to confront different elements of nature and take on various different stress loads. And through all of that, the foods we eat have to support us in maintaining our specific lifestyle. We'll start off today's discussion talking about our personal beliefs in regards to nutrition and how those beliefs can impact the way that we approach our diet. Second, we're going to hone in on our purpose and our individual health goals. Purpose is what keeps us focused on the long game. When we have a clearly defined purpose, something that really matters to us, then it's much harder for obstacles to throw us off the path. The next thing that we want to take into consideration when personalizing the diet is lifestyle. The way that you feel best about living your day-to-day life makes a huge difference in your personal approach to diet. I'll even give you some examples of different cultures from around the world where people have managed to incorporate certain lifestyle practices which give them a health advantage over other populations. After that, we'll talk about your activity level and how that affects your personal approach to diet. Regardless of whether you are really active or maybe restricted in regards to your activity level, there are ways to work with that. Your activity level is going to impact the types and quantities of foods that will best nourish your body. Next up is your current health status. This one is very important to take into consideration. In fact, for many people, this becomes the primary foundation for how they live their life and the types of foods they eat on a regular basis. And for good reason, too. Your diet can play a major role in bringing you back to a state of health once that has been lost. Following from health status, we're going to discuss limitations and how they can actually be used in our favor. Next is the topic of personal genetics. The way that you are genetically wired affects the way that your body deals with different types of foods. Once again, I'll give you some examples of how that works in different civilizations around the world. And this should give you some insight into which types of macronutrients are better and worse for your body based on your unique genetics. After that, we'll take a look at physical constitution. Your physical constitution in its most natural, uncorrupted state actually has a lot to do with the types of foods that you are best suited to eat on a regular basis. And we'll talk about why that is the case. And finally, we'll discuss the concept of eating according to the seasons. You may notice that as the weather changes, so does your appetite. The different seasons bring different expressions of climate in any given place, and your body, organ systems, and appetite respond to that change. So if you are able to personalize your diet according to the season, you'll notice that you have an easier time transitioning as the weather changes. Alright, now that we have a game plan for today's presentation, let's get right into it. The first topic that we're going to discuss in personalizing the diet is the topic of beliefs. Take an honest look at your beliefs. What kind of diet do you currently follow based on what you believe? Are your beliefs flexible enough to deal with change? Humans need belief systems because our beliefs provide a kind of structural support for our understanding of the world. What we believe is an attempt to make sense of reality, but our beliefs can also limit us if we are not careful to mindfully reevaluate them on a regular basis. Because our beliefs provide a type of structure or orientation to reality, what we believe is actually the foundation upon which we build our lives. And it's really important that our beliefs about reality remain flexible enough to entertain new possibilities when life inevitably presents us with challenges and brand new information that totally blows everything we thought we knew out of the water. The best analogy I can think of for remaining open-minded is skyscrapers. Did you know that skyscrapers actually sway in the wind? Their steel construction allows for normal swaying without endangering the building's structural integrity, nor the occupants inside. A certain amount of sway is actually planned by the architects and engineers when designing and constructing these massive buildings. And while some people might find it unsettling to notice a tall building swaying in the wind, this natural movement is no cause for concern and actually means the skyscraper is working as designed. This is a perfect example of a structure that has been built to cope with the changing elements around it. If the skyscraper were too rigid and were not constructed to sway a little when confronted with high winds, it would crack and crumble to the ground. When it comes to skyscrapers and beliefs, a little bit of flexibility and the capacity to adapt goes a long way. Now, you might be wondering, what does this have to do with nutrition? Well, considering the fact that the average human makes about 227 food-related decisions every single day, I'd say it's very important to have a guiding light shining on those decisions, a type of belief system. When you don't have any particular beliefs about which foods are going to make you healthy versus which ones are going to make you sick, then how are you supposed to know what to choose? A lack of orientation makes it much harder, if not impossible, to make the right choices for yourself. Also, because humans are continually learning and growing in consciousness throughout life, there is never a single moment where we are fully wise and know absolutely everything. For this reason, it is important for us to keep an open mind about nutrition and remain committed to the practice of lifelong learning. We've got to be solid enough to make good decisions, but flexible enough to change and adapt when we learn something new. Personally, I find Bruce Lee's philosophy to be a useful model for helping me navigate new ideas without completely shattering my orientation to reality. Here are some of the principles of this philosophy. Number 1, research your own experience. 2, absorb what is useful. 3, reject what is useless. 4, add what is specifically your own. Keep these principles in mind as you move forward through this final week of the Nutrition Challenge. My hope is that you will come to our final Zoom meeting having a more well-integrated belief structure about your individual approach to your diet. What kind of diet feels right for you at this current moment in time? And importantly, are you willing to adapt your personal philosophy as you have more experiences and learn new information in the future? Once you have worked out your orientation to how you think about your diet, it's really important to get clear about your why. Why is it important for you to eat healthy? It's time-consuming to personalize your diet, and it requires a lot of energy to be constantly focused on improving your health. So why do it? What is your purpose? What is your goal? Do you remember in week 1 when I asked you to set some intentions or develop some goals for this program? Well, hopefully now you have a better understanding of what it is that you want to build for yourself moving forward. In order to get somewhere, you've got to have a clear vision of where you're going. So if I have a clearly defined goal when it comes to health, I'm going to be more committed to eating higher quality, nutrient-dense foods. I'm also going to be more committed to figuring out what is standing in my way when I inevitably hit a plateau. For most of us, we have had that shared experience of working towards a health goal only to be met with some kind of resistance from our own bodies. We can't seem to progress past a certain point and we don't know why. I can't tell you how many times I've heard people say, I just don't get it. I'm working out 6 times a week, burning tons of calories, and my body is just hanging on to unwanted weight. What's the deal? What I can tell you right now is that your commitment to your purpose and keeping your eye on the bigger picture can do a lot to help you sort out exactly what the problem is. Zooming out and focusing on the bigger picture helps you to get new perspective, expand your awareness, and ask different questions. All of those techniques are useful to the problem-solving process. What is the bigger picture? What is my goal and what is standing in my way? So here are a couple of questions that will help you to determine whether you are oriented towards a goal or just flopping around in the wind without clear direction. Does my behavior match my purpose? Are the things that I am consuming on a daily basis supporting the person that I want to become? These questions are important to your overall health journey, so please take some time to reflect on your answers. Pause the presentation for as long as you need to in order to write the questions down for a later meditation or to find that clarity now.